Shalom. All praises to the Most High Yahawah. All praises, sisters. Oh man, brothers, sisters, welcome. Thank you for being here. It is good to be here. Brothers and sisters, oh yes. Wait a minute. Am I in the right? Am I in the right channel? Let me see where I'm at. There we go. I'm in a good channel now. Shalom, brothers and sisters. A lot happened. We are going to discuss what those people did. We had some great news this morning. The Most High is taking down the kings of this earth, whether they are young or old. The Heavenly Father is taking them down. Brethren, please click the like button so that other people can see this. Yes, yes, yes. This is beautiful. We are going to give the Most High praises. Yes. We are going to start in about, I say 20 minutes. 10 to 20 minutes. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Yes, sir, we're back. I understand why the Most High let those things happen, brothers. Yes. All praises to the Most High. Thank you, brothers and sisters. We have a lot to discuss. For those of you, I may want to wait because we have a lot of things that we said in the backup channel. We may have to retouch on that to let the people know. Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sister. Thank you, brother Larry, for being here. Thank you for coming here. And I think I'm about to use the so-called OBS, that OBS software. I use it. That thing was way too complicated. I didn't want to use it because I had to watch video explaining. But I'm gonna see if I can use it so I can have both of the channels synchronized so they can broadcast and all. But I don't want to. If I get strike, I get strike in both of them. So yeah, brothers and sisters, thank you for being here. Thank you, beloved brothers, for joining us. We are about to study together, Jews and Gentiles alike. Yes, I will be making video, beloved sister, the video. I will make a video tonight. Once I get off this, I will make a video and I will publish it ASAP. I will make a video because this channel is for me to make videos. The backup, I will make video based on article. I can't play videos on it because they will taint it. YouTube is very sensitive. And one of the things that they did because of the incident that happened a few days ago, and we were live, and I was saying Psalm 94, and we said some stuff, some truth, and what they did, they flagged the video of being violent. They said the video was graphic, and they said we show graphic things as if we show some type of violence or we were promoting violence. And when we did nothing but pray and said Psalm 94. Now I understand that was a message from the Most High, when he sent us a message and asking us and telling us if we want to see him, say Psalm 94 out loud and he will show himself. And he did. And when they took my channel down, suspended the channel for a week, and I've been having a month. Oh, okay. We have one sister call. Hello.
Hello, brethren, Big Levi.
Yes, beloved sister. What you got for the
All
nation?
praises to the Most High God of Israel.
All praises, sister. Go ahead.
We see you. The voice of the Most High God of Israel will not be trodden down.
Of course.
We see you. We see you.
That is
You
good.
understand that?
I can understand,
We
sister.
see you. We love you. I just want you to know that out the gate. We love you, okay?
Thank you, beloved sister.
All right. That's all I got. We out here.
Okay.
All praise to the Most High God of Israel.
Shalom. All praises.
Shalom. Shalom.
All right.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
All right, brothers and sisters. Thank you for calling. Oops. All right. What happened is, brethren, it's whoop. What had happened, brothers, for those of you who didn't know this, they suspended my channels for a week because of Psalms 94. We were saying the psalm and they kind of like were offended by what we were saying, and they put some label on it and say, hey, we were promoting violence and all that, and the video was graphic, it was alive, we didn't show anything, we didn't do anything that was somewhat graphic. It was just us talking. Now the Mosai led us back again. Now, for those of you who weren't subscribers to my backup channels, um, they we have, and there's a link in the description. There's a link in the description, and we may you may click it and go subscribe to that channels, because in case things like that happen, you will be there. And there's two very important video on the channels: the Noah Green video and the video about the Grand Exodus. Okay, the days of Noah and the Grand Exodus. Those are very important videos you need to watch if you weren't aware. If you weren't aware of what happened and those in that few in that week that we were down. So for now on, we are going to do everything here, and then we're going to proceed unless something else happen. We're going to go back to the other channels, but I will tell you to look at this. Okay. All right. So yeah, so those that's what they did, brother Touch. That's what they did. They flag your video. So brethren, this morning, a lot of you out there, you already know the things that happened this morning. Now, because of the nature of the thing that happened this morning, we will not say names. A lot of people been emailing and say they actually suspended their account because they say something in the chart, and they say something in the chart. They didn't say nothing. They say, they say something in the chart, and they actually suspended their account. So for those of you out there, brothers, one of the high ranking fellow, he died today. He was 99 years old. He died on the 9th. And we know the number 9 is destruction. And before in my other channels, I say, I'll see what the Messiah is going to do. I'll see what the Messiah is going to do on the 9th when my channel is back. Is he going to send a message? He did send a message. And the message was he took one of those king down. And it is no coincidence that this dude is from Britain. Well, he's technically born in Greek and stuff like that, but then again, he was the right hand of the queen in Britain. And all those things that the Mosai's did is connected to this. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this fellow died, the king of England. He died because if we say the name here, people will be out of their mind, and oh, you are passing on hate because you said so. You say this person died. Okay, so now because of that, we know for a fact the Most High was in the midst. He had his hand in this. Baby. The, the neighbor upstairs, man. Oh, pissing me off, man. So, yeah, thank you, Sister Barbara. 99, give her unto her double. Give her unto her double. And we will find out, brethren, and in this book and these stories. We read letter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are going to read letter 7. So for those of you, if you don't know this, it's gonna be a problem. Uh, letter 7. It's gonna be a little bit confusing for you because we've been on the other channel reading all the letters. Now, just to recap, brothers, let us recap. Letter 7. Welcome, brothers. We're going to recap with letter 7, okay? For those of you, please, as I'm taking this off, give me a 1 if you can hear me and see me properly. Okay, give me a 1 if you can hear me and see him properly. This is the pillar of fire, Israel and bondage, Yasharala and bondage. Okay, this is just a book. We are not promoting violence. We are not promoting anything graphic. This is just a book, brethren. We're just reading the book together. That's all that is. That's all that is. Thank you, beloved brothers and sisters. Now, let's just recap. This is a letter between a mother and a son. The son name is Sesostris. He's a prince of Phoenicia. His mother name is Epithia. She is the queen of Phoenicia, Tyre and Zidon. Now, Sesostris is 28 years old. The mother sent him into Egypt to study. For those of you who already know, the Egypt that the mother sent him to study is not that Egypt on the third part. When we read the description of this land they call Egypt, this has nothing to do in the desert. Brothers, there is not once in this book so far that we're reading they say anything about camel, a bunch of camel in the desert. They're talking about island, and in this book you find out like they're talking about a water island. They're talking about fleet of armada, galleys, fleet of ships battling, battle of fleet of ships, Mohes, not Moses though, Mohes, and all that. We know where this thing is talking about. Now, Sesostris is 28 years old. He traveled to Egypt. He's been in Egypt for 6 weeks. And then he witnesses some battle formation. He witnesses Egypt might, and then he went to a crazy party, brothers and sisters. He went to a crazy party. Yeah, water island. He just went to a water island, beautiful island, So he went to certain things, brothers. He went to a crazy party where they had a lot going on. They had some exhibition of buffoonery, games, drinking. 2 women got drunk. Brothers, people are fighting. They were so drunk they had to bring them home. It was beautiful. Please watch the podcast on the backup channel. There's a link, and all our videos, you may watch the letters in there. Now, brothers, letter 6, where we stopped yesterday, Sesostris met a fellow named Ben Isaac. Ben Isaac was one of the Hebrew slave that he saw a taskmaster was whipping and his back was bleeding. The old man was in the floor. He was beating the old man, and he shouted at him. He said, "Why are you beating this old man? Don't you see he's an old person? Stop." And then he said, "The reason why I'm beating him is because he can even lift his own weight, but he took from the little one, which is his son, and put on his own weight so he can lift the blocks, the bricks, and to bring them to the other place." Again, for those who are asking for the backup channel, there should be a link in the description, and somebody else please provide that. They should have a link that says subscribe to the backup channels. And here you don't have to subscribe if you wish. You can just check, but the backup channel, it's a must because of what happened. Now, when he went to the old man, and then he talked to the taskmaster. He told the taskmaster, "Why are you beating this old man?" The taskmaster said, "Well, he weak. He want to do this, but he can't even lift it." So there is a rules that say, "I have a captain over me, and I have a so and so amount of men and boys under me. Those men and boys, they're supposed to bring a certain amount of bricks in the plane. If they fail to bring this type of plane, like this amount of bricks, I will not get paid. They will not pay me." So Sesostris, which is a prince, he asked this dude, "What is thy wage? How much money they pay you a day?" He said, "A quarter of a scarabaeus." A scarabaeus is an Egyptian money. A scarabaeus is a quarter, so to speak. They pay him a quarter a day. The scarabaeus is made out of wood. A money made out of wood. It made out of rocks, stone, not even precious stone, regular rocks, worthless. That scab, he got paid a quarter for a day. Now Sesostris gave him 1 copper scarabaeus. That 1 copper scarabaeus value somewhere around, like, it's like you working $150 a day, brothers and sisters, and then that person come up to you and give you $150,000 for the whole day. And then he was way too happy. He just grabbed the money, he smiled, and he bolted off. He left the old man and little boy alone. This guy got rich in like just one time. Now, the Sesostris asked the man, he said, "What is your name?" He said, "My name is Ben Isaac." He said, "Ben Isaac?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Who are you? Why are they all treating you people like this?" He said, "We are Hebrews." Say, "Hebrews? Like Hebrews like Abraham?" Say, "Yes, our forefather was Abraham, Isaac, and Israel." And he said, "Who is this boy?" He said, "This boy name is Israel." So because of what happened, he's having a conversation with the old man. And this is what happened. This is Sesostris writing the letter to his mother, Epithia and Phoenicia. Sesostris is in Egypt a couple thousand years ago, like 4,000 or 5,000 years. We don't know. This is what he's describing the situation. This is letter 7, page 79. Brothers and sisters, if somebody asking question in the chat, please give them the answer and help them with information they may know. I will probably not see it because I'm reading. Letter 7. My royal and beloved mother. He's in the city of On, O-N, okay? My royal and beloved mother. I will now continue to narrate the narrative of my interview with the venerable bond servant at the fountains, or well, a stranger, near the treasure city, Rahamses. After the youth had recovered his senses, I was for a few moments an object of profound surprise of him. He surveyed me with mingled fear and wonder. So when the old man, when he paid the taskmaster just grabbed the money, smiled, and run like hell. And then he just stooped down. He looked at the little boy because the little boy was down on the floor, and the little boy was watching him, being all scared because they, as slaves, they are not allowed to talk with the higher one, the people in the higher stuff, and they stay in the ghetto. And we understand in that in letter 6, they show you the difference. They push they came from all the way from the noble class to upper class to middle class to lower class to the slaves. The slave are pushing way back in the hood. They have a specific place for them. Okay, just as we have now today. My Lord is good, fear him not, Israel. So this is the old man telling the little boy. He says, such is a good man, don't fear him. The little boy name is Israel. Okay, this is no coincidence. This is all of the Mosai's work. The Mosiah is doing this. The old man say, my Lord is good, fear not, Israel. Say the old man. The youth look up incredulous, and in his strength permitted, he would have fled away from me. I said, I'm not that taskmaster. Dread not my presence. The tone of my voice reassuring him, he smiled gently and expressed a gladness lighting up his eyes. A drop of blood trickled down his forehead and increased the paleness of his skin. So the taskmaster were beating that boy in his head. He was hitting in the head with a rod. So the blood, the old man was cleaning his face. Okay, for those of you who know the backstory. So he told the boy, like, okay, well, I am not your taskmaster, and I am not here to hurt you. Okay, so, and then he's going to interview them. This is what he said. Say, what is thy name? I asked the old man, speaking in Syriac. Okay, brothers, it is so well, if I could find a one beyond confusing, it's complexly confused. This is very confused. They refer to our people as Syriac, Syrian, Assyrian, Mesopotamian. They refer to Abraham as being a Mesopotamian, a Syrian, because Abraham ruled all those people. He showed them how to worship the Most High. Shem, aka Melchizedek, ruled all over the world. Shem ruled all over the best land. Shem ruled as Melchizedek. He taught everybody how to worship the Most High, but they choose to worship the Most High in their own words and their own way. What is thy name? I asked the old man, speaking in Syriac. For in that tongue I had heard him murmur the name of his son. And I have since found out all Hebrews of the older class speak this language, or rather Syro-Chaldaic. They also understand and speak the Egyptian vernacular. So our people were multi-language. They were polyglots. A polyglot is somebody that speak multiple language. Like I speak multiple mean like at least two language. So I speak like at least 4 or 5 language. I don't remember on top of my head. So he said, Ben Isaac, my Lord. He said, art thou in bondage? Are you in slavery? He said, yes, me and my children, like my fathers were. What brought thee and thy people into this servitude? And then the old man said, it is a sad story. It is a sad history, my lord. Art thou a stranger in Egypt? Thou art ignorant of the story of the Hebrew? So the old man was shocked. He like, are you a stranger? So why don't you know who we are and why we are here? And he's a Phoenician. He come from Phoenicia. Okay. Him and Ramesses, if you catch my drift, he thought Ramesses is his cousin on the mother side because the mother was also Phoenician. The mother was also Assyrian. The mother was also a Shemite from the line of Shem, a Melchizedek person, because the mother got married one of the king, one of the pharaoh Thebes. So he know for a fact that Ramesses is a son of that fellow, but Ramesses look like his mother, Shemitic. Yeah, the mother is Shemitic. I am Phoenician. I have been but a few weeks in Egypt. Phoenicia, that is beyond Edom, nay, beyond Philistia. Our fathers came from farther, even from Palestine. I can't say the real word because they say you're spewing hate. Who were your fathers? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have heard of them, three princes of Syria, many generations past. So he said, who are you? He said, I'm a prince. I'm from Phoenicia. He said, Phoenicia? that is very far. Phoenicia is like past Edom. No, Phoenicia is way past Philistine. I think it's even to by Palestine. And he said, um why why are you in bondage and stuff like that? Who are your people? He said, my people are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, the three princes, I heard of them. There are three Syrian princes, Shemites. When they say Syrian, they mean Shemites. He said those are three Shemites princes from the line of Shem. And he said, yes, those are where my forefathers. He said, what happened? Why they are treating you people like this? Why are you people in this so messed up bondage? This is not even slavery. He said, I met slave downtown when the upper class, those are slaves. Slaves just mean employees. But what you guys are, those are hard, that's hard bondage. And he said, he said, you heard about our forefather? I said, yes, my lord, of Phoenicia, said the venerable man. His eyes lightened up. They were princes in the land. So our people, they were princes, the shepherd kings who ruled Egypt, okay? They were princes in the land. But lo, this day, behold, their children in bondage. And such a servitude, he cried, raising his voice, raising his withered hands heavenward. Death, my lord, is preferable to it. How long must we go on into slavery? How long our little ones be yoked of Egypt? The whole man say, yes, we all, our fathers used to be king. They used to rule this land. Right now we're slaves. And he put his hand upon the heaven and say, how long we will be slave? How long we should have served and gone all the time into Egypt? Because his father was slave. He said, death is sweeter than walking in this condition. He would prefer death in this condition. And you know, for a fact, in letter 6, we read that every time the Hebrews are working, at least 20 of them die a day. They don't care. Anybody you touch those dead body, the taskmaster will beat you. They let them there until the vulture came in and eat the dead bodies. Oh, 10 o'clock. There we go. They let the dead bodies until if they collapse under a weight, you just pick up the weight, you let the dead person die, and then the buzzard, the vulture, the eagles will come and eat the dead body. That's what happened, and you will learn that again. At least 20 die a day. If he said if 20 don't die a day, none of them die. When he went to the hood, he saw the houses are all over. He saw the houses are all over. He said he saw at least one houses. Each houses have at least a dozen kids in there, which is the 12 tribes. And he saw the kids 6 years old and under. They were playing slavery. They were playing taskmasters and Hebrews. One of them were the taskmasters beating the other kids playing, and the other one were playing slavery because that's all they know. That's how when you go to our hood, you see our kids playing shooting at each other. I'm the police, you're the robber. You're the drug dealer, and I'm the cop. That's all they know because that's what they taught them. You see our little girls are shaking or twerking. Our men and women are twerking online, TikToking because that's all they know. They don't know anything else. That's all they see their parents are doing. That's what they see on the TV. That's how they program them to see. And he said here, he said those Egyptians did an excellent job of putting fear in the heart of the Hebrews. That's how you see our people. They are so ignorant when they are talking to the nigga. You barely can understand them because they watch. That's what they taught them. They taught them, you're supposed to be aggressive when you're talking or brandishing a gun in your music videos, talking about how many people you're gonna kill. And then the little one are watching. That's what they taught them. They taught them to be ignorant. This Negro reading a book, man. Why are you reading a book, Negro? What's up? What you can have? That's what they taught them. That's what they taught the hood. At this moment, one of the footmen of the prince Rameses found me and said, "My lord prince seeks for thee." I put money in the hands of the venerable Hebrew and his son and left them amid their expression of grateful surprise. When I rejoined Rameses, he was already in his chariot. Having placed myself by his side, he said that he would now drive me around the walls of the new city and show me its general plan. He had explained in all particulars with his builders, and they were to commence the erection of the palace of the governor the following week. Like we know, brothers, in the previous letter, they are building a cities, and Ramesses told Sesostris they are going to use the Hebrews. It's going to take them generations of generations to finish the city. They are making, not only they are making bricks to build the cities, the monument, they are making bricks to sell to other nations, and they were making a hell of a lot of money. All the wealth of Egypt come from slavery. When the Ethiopian or the other nation, when they saw the wealth of Egypt, they're like, God damn, where are you people getting all those? Where are you people? How are you people making all those money? Who do you have? Where does this money come from? Then they find out the Hebrews were in slavery. Now, what they were doing, brothers, the Ethiopian, they were trying to use the Hebrews. They were trying to give them arm to attack the Egyptian to drain onto him, so to speak. They say the Egyptians, the Ethiopian were in conspiracies, fucking hate that word, with the Hebrews to commit treason against the crown of Egypt. That's why I despise this word, conspiracy. In other words, something they said to keep to have a reason to beat on our people. Black people they are prone to sell drugs. They are prone to commit violence because it's in the blood. We have to keep them quarantined somewhere. We have to keep them at the bottom because they are violent. They are more likely to kill you. They are more likely to this. They have to find a reason. Drug addiction is always us. Brothers, tell you the truth, for those of you, you may agree or not, this disease, this plague that we have right now in the opioid plague, brothers, that's the only two things that actually give our people a little breather internationally. Internationally, when they look, they say, no, something else. Wait a minute, that's not what that is. You people are worse than those so-called blacks. Look at your people overdosing and dying. Look at how you people are stepping on their neck and kill them publicly because of the whole situation that the Mosai did. And now they start to calling those people out. So now they got a fake Messiah walking around wearing glasses and let men kissing his hand, kissing men wearing masks around him. He has returned. For those of you who didn't know, the Messiah has returned. So, yeah. So Moses took him around. Moses is showing where they're going to build that new city. The wide circuit we made along the plain afforded me a commanding view of the treasure city. So they were going to build a treasure city there. And the Pragas, the walls at one part were literally black with slaves. He said the walls at one part were literally black with slaves who, like ants, traversed them, carrying the burdens of bricks to those who laid the courses. And we know what they are doing, brothers. They transfer they made our people gather the straw, gather the clay, make the bricks, pull the brick from one city to another city by hand. If one brother, even you stop and try to catch your breath, you will be beaten to death. If they caught one brother try to drink a little water at the fountain, If it's rain, some water in the street, the brothers drinking some dirty water, they will beat you until they kill you. A vast pile, built more for strength than beauty, attracted my notice. That is one of the 12 gate granaries of the prince of Joseph, which he built 104 score years ago, which is 160 years ago, and the 12 districts of Egypt. It is still in use as such. As we passed the gateway, I perceived that the cartouche was defaced. You see what happened here? Sesostris with Ramesses was passing, and he saw the 12 granaries, the 12. What's the proper word for granaries nowadays? I believe they call them storage. The food storage. Remember 160 years ago when Hermes, aka Joseph, they call him the god Hermes, Joseph. If you didn't know, he's the god Hermes. That's how they refer to him. Hermes back then, Joseph, he actually bring to meaning the dream of the 12 years of plenty and 12 years of famine. The granaries, the silos, yes, that's the proper word. The silos, the 12 silos that he built, our brothers and sisters, they were still there. But what happened? They were still there and they were still in use. And what happened? They defaced it. Where he put the his mark upon his the signet of Joseph, the house of Joseph, they chipped the nose like they did to the statues. They chipped the nose. They erased it. They whitewashed it. They took it down. That was a policy back then. Every single thing that the 12 shepherds did, erase it, deface it, break it, crush it, steal it, swagger jacket, deny those people everything. Same thing that we're all going to do, brothers. There's no difference than that, man. There's no difference. There's no difference. Ramesses say that this was the act of Amu-Nophis when he came to the throne, whose policy was to remove not only every trace of the rule of the Palestinian kings, but all the memorials which brought their dynasty to remembrance. And these granaries of Pharaoh Prime Minister Joseph or Hermes were among the noblest monuments of the reign of the last of the foreign rulers, the father of the prince or Ephta, from whom Ramesses is descent, and the fourth generation only, I believe. So that was a law. Don't say it's black. Say the Chinese did this. Don't say black people there. Or you went to the moon? Wait, there's temple over there. And there's actually, wait a minute, there's people used to live there. Don't say black, say alien. And they will have the operative on there making little silly videos. Oh, there's plasma. They are alien over there. Don't say anything about black people. If any one of you, it's a law, it's an unspoken law, said there is one picture there. Yeah, I see black people getting off. You mean people with dark skin? No. Black. Really, really black. Kill that guy. Because he's violated this code, this non-speaking code. Don't say they did it. Say something else. Alien. And the stupid tutor, the scumbag will say, oh yeah, alien did this. Alien. Oh yeah, they are alien over there running around in the heaven. Do whatever the hell they want to do. As if the Most High doesn't have the power. It's like the hood over there. Everybody's just running around and flying and everything, do whatever the hell they want. The stars stay there are demons, so they won't look at it. The moon say, if you look at the moon, this is pagan witchcraft. You're pagan. Say this. That's a policy they have. At length, we stopped at the beautiful gate of a small temple dedicated to Apis. Every part it was minutely. Now, brothers, the Egyptians, they use our people to build a lot of temples and shrines and stuff like that. Each of the temples and shrines, they are dedicated to their gods and stuff like that and things like that. So at length, we stop at a beautiful gate and a small temple dedicated to Apis. This is one of their god. Every part of it was minutely and exquisitely sculptured. It contained a single shrine within which was the effigy of the sacred bull. And again, for those of you who don't know, and in this book, they explain that Ramesses explained to Sesostris, we as the Egyptians, they don't worship idols, they worship one true God. And they learned that from Abraham. Abraham learned that from Shem, aka Melchizedek, which we learned it from Noah. Noah learned it from Methuselah. Methuselah learned it from Enoch. Enoch learned it from Seth, and Seth learned it from his father Adam. Adam learned it from the Most High. But the Egyptian, Ramesses told them, but those jackasses, they cannot make the difference between the true God and a freaking bull with a human body. They will worship the bull instead of the true God. And Ramesses is about saying some stuff right there, brothers, that will send chill down your spines. Well, in the next letter, some of those stuff you're like, man, the Most High is grand. Boys dressed in the fine white linen were the officiating priests. While I was admiring this miniature edifice and the richness of all its appointments, Ramesses said, "This is an affectionate tribute of my mother's love. On my 12th birthday, she had this sacred fane dedicated in honor of the event. Here, she consecrated me as a boy to the youthful god Horus. I remember perfectly the solemn impression the whole scene made upon my heart and imagination. Once a year, I come hither and pass the night watching before its altar and prayer." So Moses did pray to those things. Okay? That is why we have to repent for that. Okay? Rather, in filial acquiescence with their wishes, which to me are laws, and I'll form reverence for the God. So Moses used to come in those shrine and those temple, he prayed. Then, Ramesses. Again, Ramesses told Sesostris, he doesn't pray to idol. You don't pray to the idol. The idol that you see, they are a representation of a type of power, a parable. Instead of worshiping again the creator, they're worshiping the creation. That's what Moses was explaining to Sesostris for those of you who watch. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Poetic justice. We had already a light and were standing on the portico of the temple, which was of a crescent shape and bordered by a row of elegantly veined alabaster columns from alabastron rich quarries of the pharaohs near the cataracts. After examining the temple and expressing the admiration which it merited, we were going out when I saw a young Hebrew woman flying from the pursuit of one of the taskmasters. When they were to leave, they saw a young Hebrew woman, they saw a young girl running, crying for help. And then there's a guy chasing her with a whip, with one of those bull whip, and chasing that little young girl. And the little young girl is running, crying for help and screaming. And that guy is lashing at her, trying to catch her. Just as we were entering the temple, I had seen her passing with other females, some laden with straw, others with bunch of leeks and garlics. Now, let me stop right here. Brothers, please type the word leeks, Leeks. What is a leek? Leek, and garlic. That was the diet of the Hebrews. That is why they give the Hebrews to eat. They give them leek, garlic, bad fish, bad meat, and they let them drink the sewers water, the river water, unfiltered water. Nothing different from Flint, Michigan, Watts, Mississippi, Little Haiti, Liberty City, Compton, Atlanta. They give them bad food. They give them a bad diet, something that can kill them because they want to get rid of them. Leek is like a big scallion onion. So it's like onion. What the Hebrew eats is onion, garlic, and like rotten fish and rotten meat. All the bad fishes. That is why, brothers, the Mosai had to put a law in Leviticus and forbid us not to eat certain things that we find in the sea. The shrimp, the conch or conch, the octopus, the whales, all the bad food. If they caught one Hebrew eating something healthy, you'll be beaten to death. Leek, plant related to the onion with flat overlapping leaves forming elongated center. It's like an onion. That is why the Mosai had to put the law, because those things were destroying our people. That is why the Mosai had to put laws, and those laws in Leviticus, when you read them, they are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. But that's what our people were doing. That's what they were teaching them and allow them to do. They were they were trying to cut the population, quote unquote. They were forcing the men, they were teaching the men, hey, don't lay with these women. This is not good. Hey, women, don't lay with these men. This is not good. Lay with something else. A men hang out with other men. A women hang out to other women so they can cut the generation. That is why the Mosai put laws and tell them not to do this, because they've been doing this for hundreds of years. That is why the Mosai put laws. For those of you, we talk about this on the previous video. We're just saying the thing. So when Sesostris and Rameses were passing, they saw this Hebrew girl, this young girl, with a bunch of other women. They were lifting heavy weights, brothers. Heavy weights of garlics and leeks on their back. They were almost died. They were out of breath. He saw them passing. And then now he said the same young girl running, and then one of the taskmaster, one of the police officer chasing her with a whip and a rod in his hand, screaming at her, trying to kill her. And then she run. Which were they were taking on the fields from the dinner of the laborers, who were not permitted to go to their huts until dark, having left them at the first blush of dawn to commence the ceaseless story. So our people work from sunup to sundown until they can see anymore, until the sun is completely down, they can see. Then they let them go home. The one that are alive, they let them go home to go eat. And what they are allowed to eat is all the bad food, eating pork, eating all those, but it's something that they put in them. The Pharaoh made it a law. This is the food they're supposed to eat to kill them, because he did not want them to multiply. Those women who worked not in the brick fields were the providers of food for the rest. This young girl, I had noticed, was bending painfully under an intolerable load of garlic and leeks, which she bore upon her head, and yet assisting a tottering woman who was working by her side with the equally heavy burden of provision in her coarse wicker basket. So he said, when he saw this young lady, this little kid, well, she was a teenager, this young virgin back then mean a young woman. This teenager had this giant basket upon her head. It was heavy upon her. And there was another woman next to her, which has a bag of baskets as big, as heavy as hers. But she was lifting hers, and she was lifting the other old women, because the other women, she could not. She was carrying hers on her back and helped the other women carrying the other one. So he saw that. I was struck with the elegance of her figure and with the beauty of her face, as well as with her kindness and her companion. When she herself needed aid, we were leaving the temple. As I said, when I beheld her flying and she came near, she saw the prince and cast herself at his feet, embracing them and exclaiming, brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike, for those of you that have the Spirit of the Lord upon you, you see like, God damn, the Messiah is good. Brothers, you will understand what the Messiah did here. You will understand what the Messiah did here is spiritual. What the Messiah did here, brother, for those of you who have the eyes and the mind to understand here, you stand up, you clap, man. You're like, God damn, this guy is good, man. The Messiah is too good. Now that little girl's running, the taskmaster is chasing after her, and then now she jumped and then lay in front of the prince Ramesses, and she lay on her belly, she grabbed the feet, and then starts screaming, "Oh my Lord, oh great and mighty God, mercy, save me." Brother, she said, "Oh my Lord, oh great and mighty God, mercy, save me." Ramesses regarded her with surprise and said sternly yet not cruelly, what do thou wish? Why dost thou fly from thy taskmaster? When I cast down my load and took my mother's, who was ready to die, he struck me because I could not take both together. I would have done it, O Lord Prince, but I had not the strength. So these young women was crying, and he saw the prince, he saw the two princes, the sorceress and Ramesses. Yet she recognized Ramesses and then jumped and lashed her body at his feet and grabbed the feet and said, "Save me, my Lord, save me, Almighty God." And then he asked her, "Why are you running here?" What he asked her that because, brothers, for those of you already know why he asked her, said, what happened? What do you want? Why are you flying? Why are you running from him, your taskmaster? She said, "When I put my load down, I was trying to help my mother because she was about to die. The load was too heavy. I was trying to take her load and put it on my load, which is too heavy for me, my Lord. I cannot lift it. So I put it down, and he's starting to beat me for that. So I run, and I cast myself onto you." And Ramesses said, "Go back to thy task, young woman. Thou shalt not be punished for a kind of act to thy mother. The gods forbid we should destroy all filial ties, even among our slaves," which again show you Abraham taught them. Brothers, this is what we call the benign neglect. The beloved brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, if you're familiar with Dr. Claude Anderson, that's what they do. They put all those civil rights, all those laws in the book. They never used them. They never had respect unto them. Civil right, they're shooting you down every day in the street. All those laws, they say we are created equal. We the people. No, you're not part of the we the people. They the people. Now, brothers, you got symbolically a young woman running, cast her feet at Moses. Remember, the Messiah was joking with Moses. He told Moses, "This is it. Why don't you be me, the Messiah, and Aaron, your Moses, your prophet?" And they start laughing. And then Moses is like, "Okay, all right, that sounds cool. I'll be you, and my brother Aaron will be my prophet." And then they both laugh, and Moses accepted the job. That's symbolically right now. This young girl, yes, sweetie. Let me see if this is. Whoop! Oh boy, I didn't know this. All right then. Thank you. I'll try this later. Thank you. That symbolically, brothers, it symbolized Israel in hard bondage, being beat by a taskmaster. She run to the Most High and cried unto her God. She cried unto her God, brothers. She hold the feet of her God. She lower herself. She bend the knee. She asked her God to save her because of the burden, because of the beating. And her God tell her, "Don't worry, my child. I will take care of that. I have laws that forbid men to raise their hand upon the women." Remember, the queen Amensi made it a law that the women shall not do heavy work. When she become foul, she made it a law. If any of the men caught beating the women, they'll be put to death, because Amensi was a woman herself. And Amensi was a Shemite, so to speak. Well, Amensi blood, well, her father was a Hamite, not quite sure, but something like that. It could be her father was a pure, her father wasn't a Shemite, but her mother was a Shemite or Shemitic person. And as a woman, she cannot bear to see the other women being suffer like this. She made it a law. She said the women shall do light work. And this law never got put to work. They never respected it. That's like some of you, they have law 13th Amendment or 14th Amendment protected the so-called black people. But you can use it. There's certain law that protect you. They protect everybody, including you, but you yourself cannot use it. Busian O'Shea 07 or Busian 07, they suspended my channel for a week. We were in the backup channel. That's why you did not see us for a whole week. They suspended my channel. Please subscribe to our channel. That's what they say, brothers. So now this young woman cast herself and Ramesses, aka Moses, told her, "Go back to thy task, young women. Thou shalt not be punished for a kind of act of thy mother. The gods forbid we should destroy all filial ties, even among our slaves." This last sentence was spoken rather with his own mind and addressed to anyone. "What is this I hear?" he continues, speaking to the sub officer, who, seeing his slaves seek the protection of Ramesses and stop a short distance off, expecting to have her sent back to him. "Didst thou strike this Hebrew girl?" She is willful and intractable, your highness," answered the humble, "and it is not in the law forbidden blows to given to the females of this people. You will deliver your rod of office to my chief servant here, and I'll no longer a taskmaster. It shall be known, and it is the will of the queen that women shall not have light tasks, that they shall be treated leniently and not made to suffer the punishment of blows." So Moses was angry, man. Say, what am I hearing here? And the dude came and said, "My lord, she's a liar. Don't trust those people. They got low IQ. They don't know what all they do is doing drugs and being lazy." He called her lazy. And then Moses said, "Don't you know there's a law in the book that says," the queen worded there, "you cannot strike the women with blows. You cannot beat them. And you cannot make them do heavy work." Brothers, listen. All those people out there, all the so-called Gentiles and stuff, they are well aware of the situation that we are in. But make no mistake, there are certain of them, they've been so distracted by entertainment and stuff. They're living in their own world. They really don't know what's going on with us. They truly know, they truly think that we are lazy. They truly think that the reason why we act like this on TVs and all that is because we are actually like that. They truly believe that it's in our DNA because that's what they taught them. There's a bunch of law they put here for so-called black people, but they never respect them. So this dude, and then he's like, "Oh man, she's a liar. She's lazy, my lord. She's lazy." The man with the downcast face come forward and place his rod on the hand of the chief servant. So now he walk up. He walk up like, fuck, man. You know, he walk up. He give the chief officer, the chief captain of Moses, that was with Ramesses and Sesostris. He gave him his rod, and then when he gave him the rod, and then the chief captain look at Moses, and Moses give him the signal, and then he break it. He break the rod, brothers. Listen, brothers, listen. This is spiritual right here. This is Israel as the women being beaten under a hard burden, cry and run unto our God and ask the God to forgive her. And then the God, before doing anything, he laid down the law. He said, don't you know I have a law here that say you shall not strike this woman and make her perform heavy burden? And then he sent up the angel, and then the angel to retrieve the rod from the guy, and then the Mosai look at the angel, and the angel break the rod, and then the taskmaster has anything. The Mosai took the taskmaster job from him. He said, "You no longer a taskmaster." And he look at the angel and say, "Bind him." And then they took the men, they bind him, they go somewhere, they kill him. This is all symbolic right now, brothers. This is all symbolic, man. And Sesostris brothers, Sesostris saw that, and in his mind, he like, God damn. In the future, he said, Ramesses, those people are not ordinary people. If you don't find a way to properly send those people away to another land, that God going to get you. Brothers, once you read this, you will understand why Moab did not want us to pass through the land. Edom did not want us to pass through the land. And the Amorites did not want us to pass through the land. Everybody was afraid of us. You will understand, brothers. You will understand why everybody did not like us at all. In the next few chapters. Now let's finish reading this. Now go and bring hither the basket. So before they have this dude listen, brothers, again, this is all the Mosai. This is the Mosai show you how he's going to judge the Gentiles, because the Gentiles, the heathens, they have a case too. Their case is, brothers, we are lazy. Their case is we are bad people. We don't want to work. That's what this dude said. He said this woman is lazy and she's a liar. She don't want to work. And Moses called it, the Mosai called the heathen and said, come here. Now go and bring hither the basket. I will see what are the burdens you place upon the weak, and henceforth they shall be proportionate to the strength of the bearer. So Moses said, okay, go get that basket, the one that she was lift. I will see how much weight you put on the weak. So this dude went over there and go get the basket. Brothers, this man is a taskmaster, a Shaquille O'Neal looking mofo, body build, big ass Negro. This good, he spent at least 30 minutes to go get the basket. They are watching him. The dude struggle. He struggled under the weight. He pulled, he pushed, he struggled. At last, he dragged it. He dragged it to Moses. And then Moses said, lift it above your head. Is that what, sir? Lift it above your head. Like the women, like she was carrying, lift it. I can lift it. I can lift this, right? She can't lift this. Huh? What's up with you? He put it down. Gang, give me a second, man. Give me a minute. Oh, shit, my back. And then Moses, Ramesses, everybody look at this man. You scumbag. You put on this weak women. She actually left, brothers. She actually carried this load from one city to another. This dude can't even lift the load, brothers. That's how heavy it was. They're like, you. Moses said, take this Negro, kick him in the back, and shoot him in the head. They took that fellow, they dragged his ass in the back. He never came back. The men returned. The men returned. Let me drink a little water. Let me read it for you, for those of you that likes reading. Page 83. The men returned several hundred yards along the road, and after several strenuous efforts, with great difficulty, lifting the basket and placed it at the prince's feet. To the amazement to all about him, he stood to raise the wicker basket of fleek from the ground, putting forth his strength. He lifted, for he is a man of great vigor. He was a giant mofo, for he is a man of great vigor, but immediately setting it down. Again, he said with indignation flashing from his eyes, and he said, addressing the disgraced taskmaster, "See thou what thou wouldest compel this frail child to bear upon her head. Thou art cruel and barbarous. Bind him, he shall go to prison." So they took this dude, they took this dude to prison. And then guess what? Before that dude go, he was a snitch. He said, "My Lord, I'm not alone. I'm not the only Negro that do this. They all do that, my Lord. I'm not the only one. Peter, John, Jack, Matthew, Eric, Earl Jones, all those guys, they all do this, my Lord. My Lord, please. I can't look, listen, my Lord, listen. I know you're gonna do this, but there are other Negroes out there, man. They taught me how to, my Lord, they forced me out to. Oh, that dude become a master. This is probably the first ever snitch you ever. He starts snitching on everybody. Moses said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, my Lord. Oh, you won't believe that. Not only, my Lord, that they do certain things and beat, and then after that, with the women and stuff. But my Lord, please, my Lord." Moses said, "But because of what you said, oh, he ratted on them. So much the worse if the abuse is widespread. It is time to correct it and see that the law and the realm is over him. Take him away." Now, brothers, you see where they get the Darth Vader. Take it away. They get it from Moses. Moses said, "What? That thing is so..." Again, brothers, the upper class, they shield them from what happened to lower class because some of them will be disturbed. Some of them cannot go to sleep. Keep thinking about what's going on in the hood. What they specifically did in the hood. The police are dressing themselves like us and then go around in little park where they got children and then spray them and kill them. And then they blame it. And the media will come up and say the shooting was gang related. And when they heard the shooting was gang related, they're like, "Whew, that's them killing themselves." But when they find out that it was the actually white supremacist police officers that was over there, keep shooting our people down, some of them cannot go to sleep like this, brothers. Some of them, quote unquote, believe it or not, they have a conscience. Some of them are straight demons. They're like, "Yes, I like that. This is good." But some of them, they're like, "Mm-mm. I can't do this." Do you know, brothers, some of the Gentiles, they like competition. They truly believe that you're inferior. That is one of the beliefs that they let you play against in the NBA, which was which was a deadly mistake. They let you play in the sport, which was a massive mistake. Now they got the sport of sailing and playing polo, just like that guy that died. That was his sport: sailing a boat and playing polo on a horse. Brothers and sisters, which one of you have a sailing boat here? Which one of you have a freaking horse to play polo? How are you going to exceed at this game? Please let me know. Which one of you have a freaking boat you can sail here? They will not let you get in the I am good of having money. The guy that have the most money won. How am I going to compete with that? So Ramesses say, "Well, this thing is too..." Let me see. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I took too long. Let me see. I took too long. All right, let me go ahead and then do this very fast. Well, this Okay. Two dozen. Let's see. Two of the servants seize him and try and tie his hand behind him. So they arrest this dude and they took him somewhere. And then Moses look at the little girl and say, "Go in peace, child. Return to thy mother. Fear no more the rod of thy taskmasters. The hand of the first shall he laid on a Hebrew woman shall be cut off with a sword." My God, this is the most I look at the people say, "Go in peace, child. Return to thy mother, the Holy Spirit. Fear no more the rod of thy taskmasters. The hand of the first that is laid on a Hebrew woman shall be cut off with a sword." All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. All praises. All praises. The Most High did this. The younger the younger kisses the sandaled feet of the prince and hastened to the spot where he had left her mother seated on the ground. Rameses with his eyes followed her and sighed. Who can tell what heavy thoughts were passing in his mind? So Rameses was really troubled. Okay. When he comes to the throne, I know him not, my mother. If the condition of the Hebrews will not be greatly ameliorated, and their lot rendered for happier. I saw the girl embrace and raise her mother from the earth, and then supporting her affectionately, lead her away towards a group of huts not far off, and which probably was their abode. So the little girl run and go grab her mother, and then they go home. My sesostris, say Prince, walk with me along with this terrace. I have yet to see the governor of the queen's granaries, and I will converse with thee until he arrives. The terrace run along the south side of the low pyramidal area on which the temple was elevated. From it was a lovely field of fields and gardens and groves of palms and orange and trees extended over the land of Goshen, which is the most fertile and highly cultivated portion of Egypt that I have seen. So Sesashtu saw Goshen. He like, damn, whoa, this look at this. There's so much fruit and trees and green. Brothers, when he's talking about that has nothing to do with that land of Egypt over there in Africa, Virgin. That has nothing when you listen to the description, the land is so lush and beautiful. Say, this is Goshen, the most cultivated land. From the terrace, steps of polished porphyry led to the garden fragrant with flowers, which were cultivated alongside of the temple, in order to make them offerings of chaplets of the god, who was crowned with them every morning by the flower priest. It was a land of brothers. They refer to Egypt as the land of flowers. The land of flowers. Goshen as the land of flowers. Beautiful. Okay. In this garden, I saw brothers. Listen to this. In this garden, I saw the mywobalanum, which is rich fruit out of which a rare ointment is extracted for anointing the priest. The phonicobalanus, which bears an intoxicating fruit and gives to the priest who eat it of its divine powers. There's a fruit called phonicobalanus. If the priest eat this fruit, he gave them supernatural powers. Okay, divining powers, brothers. When they say divine, when they say divining powers, not making them high, it gave them superpowers. The graceful palma or sheaf or the palm flowers, the almond tree, brilliant. This fruit is in Goshen. Yeah, like that. Thank you, Sister Yahshua Music, like Black Panther. And the movie Black Panther, they eat this flower and then he gave them the panther power. Okay? Make no mistake, they could just take this plate or somewhere, they just switch it and then they say marijuana. That's what our people also messed up in this stuff. Yes, baby. All right. So, yeah. Okay, so again, there's another observation he made here. He said, I have seen no oaks in Egypt, nor does our majestic Libanian cedar grows here. It is a land rather of flowers than of trees. You heard that? It is a land rather of flowers than of trees. The myrtle is everywhere, seen as an ornamental tree, and is highly odoriferous in this climate. Okay? So he went to Goshen, brothers. He started describing the flowers to his mother and stuff like that and things. There were many others. This is page 85. There were many other rare and beautiful plants, but I have enumerated these to show you what a land of flowers is this sunny land of Osiris and Isis. The prince, after we had once traversed the terrace in silence, turned his thought face towards me and said, betraying what was upon his thought. So Ramesses, aka Moses, they are passing by, they are going back. So what Ramesses witnesses start to troubling him. Brothers, this is all of the Mosai's work. That's why, brothers, you never interfere with the Mosai, man. When the Mosai do something, you give him praises, whether it's good or not. So Sesostris look at Moses, he saw Ramesses. Ramesses is trouble. So Ramesses said, Prince, this is the problem of Egypt. Its solution calls for greater wisdom than belongs to man. You mean the bondage of the Hebrew people, right? I answer at once, perceiving the meaning of his words. So Ramesses said, technically said, Sesostris, Egypt is all good and perfect except for this. That's the only problem we have. And I don't think any man can resolve this problem. And Sesostris said, you mean the Hebrew people slavery, right? And Ramesses said, yes. Yes, he replied, with a sigh and a grave brow. So Ramesses was really sad. Keep in mind, brothers, Ramesses thought he was one of them. Ramesses thought he was one of the Hamites. Ramesses thought he was one of the Theban. He thought he was one of the bad guys. I have promised to acquaint you with their story, the history. Now, brothers, this is the history. Okay, Ramesses is giving the history. This is very important. Listen, as far as I know, again, listen. He said, listen, as far as I know, if you shall have it given unto you. Our records kept and preserved by the priest and the all of books. Brethren, who kept brothers, sisters, who kept the records of our people? Who kept the records? Yes, the priesthood of Mahan. He said the record is kept by the priest and the Hall of Books. The Hall of Books is what the Vatican have down there, the 53 miles of knowledge and stuff. And the Temple of Sun give the following account of the origin of this race, which allowing of the errors that are interwoven in all mere tradition is no doubt worthy of credit. How about 400 years ago, brothers, listen. About 400 years ago. So this is the end of their captivity, brothers. This is the end of the captivity. About Egypt was in Israel was in bondage about 430 years in captivity in Egypt. So this is Ramesses telling the stories of the priests they kept there. About 400 years ago, says the history of the priest, there arrived in the land a Palestinian Assyrian prince from Mesopotamia, or Assyria with large flocks and herds, having formed an alliance with Melchizedek, king of Salem, which we know as Shem, that was Abraham. For not only was this Assyrian wise and upright, aka Abraham, but the gods were with him and blessed and prosper him in all that he did. This Melchizedek, the king, I said, was also favored of his God, and his virtue have come down to us fragrant from the beauty of piety and good deeds. So, like we told you, brothers, like we say, Melchizedek, aka Shem, inherited the priesthood from Noah, well, from the Most High. So, the Melchizedek priesthood, he taught the Melchizedek priesthood to Abraham. Abraham taught it to all the Egyptians, all the heathens, everybody. They taught all of them how to worship the Most High. But we went into this, brothers, but they choose to worship their own stuff, okay? So again, brothers, the Melchizedek priesthood is the priesthood of Methuselah, of Noah. It's the priesthood of Methuselah. It's the priest. Each time they give it a name. Okay, we know it as the Melchizedek priesthood, and before that it was the Noah priesthood. Before that, it was the Methuselah priesthood. Before that, it was the Enoch priesthood in the time of the Atlantean. Before the Atlantean, before when they were in Atlantis, and then it was known as the Sephite priesthood. Before that, it was known as the Adamic priesthood, because the Mosai give the priesthood to Adam. Adam give it to when the Cain and Abel do their stuff. Cain lost. He gave it to Abel. Cain killed Abel. Seth came. Brothers, I know some of you read other books. Please let us do this and respectful with each other, okay? All right. So they just call it the Melchizedek priesthood because that's probably the most recent name that we have, brothers. Thank you. It's the priesthood of heaven. It's a holy priesthood. That doesn't mean, brothers, you have to be specifically under this priesthood. And if somebody said, well, I'm under the priesthood of heaven. Well, you're not going to make it because you're not under Melchizedek. No, it's just name. It's just name, brothers. It's come from the Most High. They give it to this person. Remember, it's a scepter thing. Adam passed the scepter to Seth. Seth passed it to another dude. That other dude passes to that dude. That dude passes to Enoch. Enoch passes to Methuselah. Methuselah passes to Noah. Noah passes to Shem, aka Melchizedek. Melchizedek passes to Abraham, and Abraham passes to David. Okay, it goes hand to hand. It's still the same thing. It's just brothers, listen, every timeline they have a name. For instance, you had the timeline Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel fighting. Okay, Cain Abel die. You have like the children of Seth and the children of the bad Enoch, the Enoch of Cain. Okay, they are fighting, fighting. Then you have Noah and the giants and stuff, and then they're fighting. Then you got Shem and Shem and the other two brothers fighting. Then you got Abraham and Nimrod fighting. The time of Abraham in Nimrod done. Then you got the time of Esau and Jacob fighting. That's what it is. Every time it's still the same thing. It's transcending. Now we are in the last issues about to go down. All right. This Melchizedek, the king, I said, was also favored by his God, and his virtue come down to us fragrant with the beauty of piety of good deeds. Tradition has been faithful to him and Rameses. Among the Arabian prince of Petra, he is held as a god who came down on earth to show kings how to reign and benefit mankind. For those of you who read the throne of David, they say the way they find Melchizedek, the priests, the people, they were worshiping in the temple of Baal. And when they were worshiping in the temple of Baal, they saw a light come out of the sky and beam down there in front of one of the statues. And then when the light beamed, and then they saw a baby. And then the little baby look at them, and the baby give praise to the Most High. And the baby taught them As the baby go up, he taught them how to properly worshiping. Okay, because those people that was worshiping Baal, they were the children of the Mosai. The Mosai sent multiple times his people down there to teach his children how to worship him, but they refused. This is the last straw. That's the legend, okay, brothers. We know that's how the legend. He said tradition, all right. Tradition has been faithful to him, answered Rameses. Among the Arabian princes, priests of Petra, he is held as a god who came down and on earth to show kings how to reign and benefit mankind. And Haitian culture, they know Melchizedek as a Hugan. Okay, Melchizedek was a master Hugan, for those of you who know this, okay? Because he had knowledge and practically everything. So, with him, the prince of Assyria, Abram. Okay, before his name was Abram, and after that, the Mosai changed his name to Abraham, father of many nations. So his name was Abram. Abram, let me see. Abram was one terms of the closest friendship. So Melchizedek and Abram, they were best friends. They were buddies. Those guys, because Melchizedek was Abraham's mentor, just like Jethro was Moses' mentor, just like John the Baptist was YAHAWAH, aka Jesus Christ's mentor. You see, the Mosai doesn't just send somebody over there; he sent people and then he sent mentor to train them. That's how the Mosai does. Each of those guys had mentors. Okay, the mentor of Enoch were the angel, Uriel, Michael, Gabriel, all of that. Adam mentor was the Mosai. Okay. All right. Abram was on terms to the closest friendship. At length, a famine arose in the land where he dwelt. He came down into Egypt just after the invading hosts of Phoenicia and Palestine had inundated our kingdom, and conquering On, and Memphis, had subdued Lower Egypt and set up the foreign dynasty as known as the Hyksos and Shepherd of Kings. So now, brothers, remember the story. Abraham come down into Egypt because of the famine, and Abimelech. They refer to Abimelech here, but they give him another name. Abimelech took his wife and all that because that was a custom back then and all this stuff. So, so yeah, man, the truth just keep getting bigger, brothers. There's a lot we don't know, but let's connect the brothers. Listen, again, I'm saying this. I understand other of us, we are reading other books. We are just reading what's happening in this book. Okay, everything connects. It may not make sense to you, but everything connects, brothers. Okay, so now when Abraham got to Egypt, the king that he met in Egypt, they weren't the original. They weren't the original people. Abimelech wasn't the original people of Egypt. They were invaders. They came, they swagger jack the true Egyptians. They took power. So Abimelech wasn't truly quote unquote a Hamite. And you will understand, brothers, at the end, in the book of on the book of the throne of David, when Abimelech made the covenant with Abraham that his children will have this portion of the land forever and ever, and then David came in and killed all of them. And then Nathan explained it to say, he said, no, those so-called people, they don't have land here. The contract he signed it with the Abraham. He didn't read the fine print. That is why, brothers, you always have to read the fine print. Okay, so all right. The history is well known to our archives kept in the temple of Astarte and Attire, I answer. So Sesostris tell Ramesses, but this history is well known, well kept in the temple. Brothers, it is always the priesthood of Mahan. It is always the religious places that kept records. The government don't know anything. The government received the orders from the priesthood of Mahan. That is why they have so many nutcases out there. The priesthood of Mahan don't tell them, hish. We are only two people know the truth, the truly truth out there. The priesthood of Mahan and the priesthood of the Mosai. The government don't know anything about anything, man. They just receive orders. They just tell them, do this, they do it. Do that, they do that. They don't know why. That's why a lot of people are confused right now. This place and other places, that's where we get the truth. Okay? Um, this history is well known to our archives kept in the temple of Astarte or Attire, I answer. And therein we learn that the hero Saites, who had a warlike spirit which could not find field in Lower Syria. So they refer to Abraham as Saites and Phoenicia and the land of Phoenicia was threatened by famine, and he's telling Moses his version, his Phoenician version, how he know. Brothers, our story has so many versions. The Chinese know it somewhere, those Japanese know it somewhere, the African know it how, we know it away, brothers. There's so many, brothers. Yeah, there's so many. So he's now telling Ramesses the story. He know it, and Phoenicia. He said, and there where we learned that the hero Saites, aka Abram, who had a warlike spirit, Abraham didn't play, which could not find field in Lower Syria, was threatened by famine. And hearing of the abundance in Egypt and the splendor of its city, combined with the innovating habits which grow out luxury and unbroken peace, he conceived the idea of its invasion. And at the head of an undisciplined but brave army of 170,000 men, horsemen, and footmen, with 300 chariots of iron, he descended through Arabia deserta and enter Egypt by the desert and the sea, capturing and fortifying Azariah and Jeber in his march. These these particulars are not fully given by our historian. So he said, but there are some stuff that are missing. The party, he said our historian don't know this part that you're telling us. Okay. Ramesses telling what the part that I'm about to telling you, the historian don't know this, only the priests know this, answered Ramesses. This ambitious warrior, having entered the Sephirite country, and kept and founded a city where he made the arsenal of war, and from it he sent out his armies and conquered Memphis and the whole of Lower Egypt. The kings of Egypt, abandoning to him Lower Egypt, retired with his court and army of the Thebaid, and were content to reign there over half of the kingdom, while the haughty conquerors established their foreign throne at Memphis. So there was that another. He said there was like another king, okay, another king that came in. That was Abimelech, the Abimelech people. They came in into Lower Egypt, and then they invaded Lower Egypt. So everybody that was in Lower Egypt moved to Upper Egypt. So those people were the Phoenician. So they established the Phoenician Pharaoh. It was continued, Ramesses, during the reign of Benign. So they refer to Abimelech as Benign, okay? Benign, the first Phoenician Pharaoh after the death of the conqueror, that Abram came into Egypt. So that's when Abimelech swagger jack everything, and Abimelech act like he was the true Negro, the true people of the land. And then Abraham came back. Abraham came into Egypt. He had known this prince in Palestine where he was in his youth, and the king gladly welcomed so powerful a lord and warrior who had in battle overthrown Kedolaomer, the king of Elam, and whose language was nearly similar to his own. That is why Abimelech was so happy to see, to see Abraham, because he heard the story. Remember when Abraham was kicking ass and taking name, when he was killing those giants, he actually delivered Og of Bashan. In the book of Abraham, Og, they captured Og. Og was the baddest of the bad. But the king Kedolaomer of Elam took Og prisoner, took Lot prisoner. Yeah, for those of you, they took all of that, and then they run. And then Abraham was like in his 70s. Abraham and Eliezer and 400 men took weapon, and then they just run after the king of Elam. They mass 400 men, brothers, which is another code word for the 400. 400 men, they massacre a whole town. They massacre everybody because the Messiah was in the midst of them. And they bring back all the spoil. and then they give 1/3, 1/5, 1/10 to Melchizedek the priest, and then Melchizedek right then and there passed the scepter to Abraham. He said, Abraham, I'm out, Negro. This is you. I've done my job here. You finished everything. That was your last training. He's done. So Benign, aka Abimelech, they heard about this story. They knew about it. So when Abimelech swagger jack the people that was living in Egypt, the native Egyptian, he's a Phoenician. But brother, what he did, Abimelech swagger jack, he put his own dynasty. So Abimelech dynasty, brothers, was much more. They were much more lenient. Abimelech dynasty was like, because now you're seeing that somehow Abimelech was a Shemite. He wasn't that brutal. Abimelech just treat Abraham just like he treat his own children. He actually give Abraham 90%, 99% of his kingdom. He just tell Abraham, take all of it, man. I don't need it. Because of what the angel did to him on the behalf of Sarai. Okay? This prince Abraham dwelt in Egypt during the continuance of the famine in Syria and near the court of the king, because Abimelech gave him land. Okay, the court of the king. Let me see. The court of the king, who not only took him into his counsel, but lavished upon him great riches. But the king said that his story becoming enamored of the beautiful princess Sarah, the wife of the Lord of Palestine, because of what the king was trying to do to Sarai. So he paid for that. Okay. Abram removed from his court and with great riches of gold, silver, cattle, and servants marched out of Egypt and to Arabia out of the south and to his own city. So when Abram came into Egypt, so the whole thing happened. So now Benign, aka Abimelech, give Abraham 99% of the kingdom and then he sent him away. So Abraham took everything and then he went in Lower Syria. So it is probably, I said, from this fact of Prince Abraham coming into Egypt, about times that the Phoenician came, that some tradition have made him its conqueror and the founder of the dynasty of the shepherd king. So Abraham was the one who established the shepherd kings in Egypt. Abimelech really did not care anymore. Abimelech said, Abraham, man, rule over us. I'll be the king, but you'll be the guys that go ahead and do everything. Just like those people nowadays. They are the face of everything, but who do the work? Us. Who do everything? Us. Who invented everything? Us. They just take credit for Thomas Edison. Oh, I invented this. And no, Negro, you did not. Yes, for this, Abram was not only eminent as a warlike prince, but his usual retinue was an army. Wherever he moved, and no doubt Benign, the king Abimelech, willingly let him depart from he that he had offended him, rather than meet the follower of the arm which had already slain 5 kings of the east and had their spoil. At length Prince Abraham died and left a son, who succeeding him not only in his riches but is in wisdom. So Abimelech, brothers, Abimelech let Abraham go, aka Benign. But Abimelech is old. Abraham is old. He let Abraham go. But Abraham died. But he left a son, aka the Dondon child. He left a gift. The Dondon child was a gift to Abraham and Sarai because they could not have children. Okay, well, he had Ishmael, but the Most High gave him a gift. Now, Isaac, aka the Dondon child, succeed Abraham not only in riches but in wisdom. After, this is the history he's telling us, Sesostris. After a time, he also died and left a son, Prince Jacob, who had 12 sons, all princes of valor. But who, like the Arabian of the today, live a nomadic life. Now, the 12 sons, brothers, they were nomad people. They were nomadic life. They live a nomadic life. Why? Because the land wasn't theirs yet. So they were living this place. They left that. That's why they always get tent, tent, tent. They never built anything in a specific place until the time of Joshua, until the time of Joshua, and David, until the time of David and Solomon. That's when the 12 patriarchs, thank you, or patriarchs. One of these brothers was beloved of his father more than the others, and moved by envy, they seized upon him and sold him into a caravan of the bands of Ishmael, the robber king of Idumea. Now we know now, brothers, those Ishmaelite that bought brother Joseph, that buy him with money, they were robbers for the Idumean, for the Edomites. They were thieves working for the Edomites. They were those guys were like go around and steal stuff for the Edomites. But they bought Joseph, but they could not take Joseph home because the Messiah sent like a 3 days darkness upon them. They could not move. They stand where they were for 3 days. And then they realized what people they had in their hand, and they sold Joseph back to Egypt. Okay, the robber king of Idumea, at his was of on his way to Egypt, these barbarians sold the young prince Joseph to an officer of the king's palace, Potipharis. Okay, see why here they don't reserve, they don't refer to Potiphar as Potiphar. They refer to him as Potipharis, captain of the guard, would descend Potiphar Mrs. and the general of the cavalry you met at Queen's banquet. So all the dots are connected now. This officer became the friend of the young Syrian and raised him to a place of honor in his household. In the course of time, the king, who was the eminent Pharaoh Apophis, dreamed a dream which greatly troubled his mind, in which neither his soothsayers, magicians, nor the priest could interpret. Joseph, who was eminent for his piety, love of truth, and devotion to his God, being in prison, to which on some false charges of seeking the love of his master's wife. Now, brothers, remember the whole story. They put Joseph. I still I hear phone, but they imprisoned Joseph for over 19 years because Potiphar's wives lie and say Joseph trying to do things to her because she was trying to do things with Joseph. And Joseph, and that brother was a strong brother. I wish I had that brother. Woo! Anyway, brothers, you see where I'm going with this. To which of some false charge of seeking the love of his master's wife. He had been committed, had interpreted the dreams of two prisoners, one of whom being released and hearing of the king's dream, sent him word that while in prison, the Hebrew captive had truly interpreted a dream, which both he and his companion had dreamed. Thereupon, Pharaoh sent for the Hebrew, who interpreted his dream, and which prophesied 7 years of great plenty, such as was never known in Egypt, and 7 years of follow of them of such scarcity as no kingdom on earth has ever suffered from. Now you know where this thing is going on, brothers. Okay? All right. So, and when the Hebrew had recommended the king to appoint an officer to gather in the corn during the years of plenty, and the husband and the treasure houses against the 7 years of scarcity. Now, whew, now, Apophis, brothers, Apophis, listen, Apophis at once elevated him to that high position. The Pharaoh at that time, remember, those are those are not those Pharaoh Apophis, he's Phoenician. Apophis is at a true, like true native Hamite. He was an invader. He invaded Egypt. So at that time, that's why this father was so wise, because he was a Shemite. He was so wise. He quickly saw Joseph wisdom. He elevated Joseph. He said, "This dude is second in command here. Whatever he said goes." And he just technically he just left everything to Joseph. And then you understand this when you start reading further, brothers. Again, brothers, it's a book we're just studying, brothers. Okay, we're just reading. Apophis at once elevated him to that position, removing from his hand his own signet ring. Brother, the king removed from his hand his own signet ring. That means, brethren, he literally transferred the power to Joseph. Remember in the book of the throne of David, when Saul died, what did that effeminate Ishbosheth did? He took a Saul ring and put it in his big thumb, and it had the freaking bull in his hand, a tiara and flowers and stuff. Because come on, man. Anyway, you know where I'm going with this. So the king, removing his hand, his own signet ring, he placed it upon the finger of Joseph, and having arrayed him in vesture of fine linen, and placed a gold chain about his neck, presenting him with the second state chariot to ride in, and made him ruler over all his realm, commanding all men to bow the knee before him as to a prince of the blood, and second in power only to himself. Technically, Joseph was a king. The king actually said, "You know what? This guy is smarter than me. He know his hesh. He know what he's doing. He's the ring man. I'll be the face. I'll be the face. You be the brain and the muscle. I'll just be that guy that's standing there, and then people will look at me. Then you'll do the job." And these, I say, glancing at a group of Hebrew laborers not so far, who were seated upon a ruin, eating garlic and coarse bread for the noonday meal. And these are the same blood. So Sesostris, he like, damn, this Joseph was smart. And he look at the Hebrews, the slaves. He said, "Those slaves over there, are they the same blood of Joseph?" And Sesostris and Ramesses look at him and say, "Yeah, the same, all of the same. They are the same people." "Yes," says Sostres, "but you shall hear this history. This Joseph reigned in Egypt above 60 years, 60 years, holding in his hand the supreme power, save only that he wore not the crown of Apophis, who, given up to pleasure or to war, gladly relieve himself to the active cares of state." Yo, Apophis was like, "Oh, hey, I am retiring early." Yo, Joseph, you do your thing, baby. I'm just gonna play golf and just chill. Exactly how those people do. Once they find one of our people, brothers, one of a super smart, either a black man or a black woman, they say, "Hey, man, hey, let me see what time is here. Hey, this is golf and then Hawaii. Look, listen, be the CEO, be the thing," and then they go around and enjoy. Brothers, look at DMX, brothers. Tell me one Gentiles that can rap like DMX. Tell me one Gentiles that sell their album like DMX, that the brother DMX. The moment they find one of us that can do this and say, "Well, wait, hey, bring that Negro here, provide him with everything that he needs." Those who benefited from all of this, DMX didn't benefit of all of that, man. None of them can do this, man. So Apophis said, "Yo, Joseph, grow Hawaii, I'm out, man. Take everything, do your stuff." And then he just retired. He like, whoo. Joseph was the one who going around and fight all the wars and won everything, and then strengthen up and make Egypt what Egypt was. Again, it was the quote unquote the Shemite Phoenician that invaded Egypt. The real native Egyptians, they were there, but they know for a fact Apophis wasn't one of them. Apophis was an invader. He invaded them. Holding and inspire the supreme power, only they were not crown of Apophis, who given up to pleasure or to war, gladly relieve himself to the active cares of state. But while he was an early power and yet a young man, his father and his brothers were driven out of Egypt by the 7 years of famine, which followed the 7 years of plenty. Then I interrupt. The dream of Pharaoh was rightly read by the Hebrew youth. So Sesostris say, then Joseph was right. So he the dream did come true. Remember, brothers, they don't know the story in Phoenicia. The Phoenicians don't know this story, brothers. They suppress this story. The greatness of Joseph, the 12th shepherd king, they suppress it. This story is not known by anybody except the priest, brothers. That is why Moses tell him, I'm telling you what the priest told me. And Phoenicia, they know the story of Abraham. That said, they don't know any story about what's coming next. So he was like, then Joseph was right. This thing come to fruition. And in all particulars, this is stuff like yesterday. In all particulars, he interpreted with the wisdom of a God who sees into the future as into the past. But to resume my narrative, he recognized his father Jacob and his brethren. Did he make use of his power to punish the latter for his cruelty of selling him into bondage? So Sesosha said, well, since they came back to him, his father Jacob and his 12 brothers or 11 brothers, did he use his power to punish them, kill them? Because that's the most logical things to do, because you sold me into slavery. Whatever. Give me a second. He said, did he did anything to them when he recognized him? On the contrary, he forgave them. On the contrary, he forgave them. At first, they did not recognize their shepherd brothers and the powerful and splendid prince of Egypt, before whom they came under his name of Hermes Osiris. Hermes Osiris, that's what they used to do. If that's something you can like, damn, you people always swagger jacking our Hishman. Hermes Osiris, that was the name of Joseph, which Pharaoh had conferred upon him. So Pharaoh was Apophis was the one who gave Hermes Joseph this name. It must have been both a wonderful surprise and a source of terror to them when they at length found in whose presence they bow. I said, picture in my mind the scene when they perceived who he was. I imagine not only the trembling fear of the men, but the joy of the venerable father. Sesostris was dead in, man. He said, not only I imagine the fear of the brother, but the father was pretty happy because they did thought, he died. Doubtless, a most touching and interesting interview, answered Rameses. Instead of avenging their cruelty, he entertained them in his palace with banquet, and afterwards solicit a Pharaoh who refused him no request, that his father and brethren must dwell in the land. When they went into Pharaoh Apophis, he said the brothers of Joseph were here. They come in. Apophis said, listen, man, he said, man, y'all goes, look at the land. Go wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Joseph, give them a land. And Joseph give them Goshen. Joseph give them the best land to stay, brothers. The 12 tribes went into Goshen, the best of the best. We're at the last page, brothers. We're at the last page. We're done. Okay, that's the story at the last page. At this moment, a tall Hebrew young man passed, returning with a proud free step, having carried his burden and placed it by a well, which some workmen were repairing. I gazed upon him with interest, fancying I beheld in his face the lineament of the prince of whom Ramesses was talking. I thought to the eyes of my companion followed the youthful bondman as he went away with something like a kindred to sentiment, for he discoursed of the glory and virtue of Prince Joseph. It was impossible that we should not withdraw nearer as we were to this hapless captive of his race. When you look at this dude, there is no difference between this Hebrew man and Ramesses. Those guys look alike. What? Why? What is this? It's something. What am I seeing here? This guy got the same feature as the prince. It was in this part of Egypt where the Syrian patriarch dwelt. This very temple is erected upon the site of his habitation, and from here, as far as you can see, stretch the rich field and fertile plain occupied by him, his son, and their descendant. He was telling him about Goshen. Say Goshen, that's why they used to live and all that and things like that. Here, they erected the cities, most of which were destroyed by the subsequent dynasty, with all the monuments of Joseph's power. And here they dwelt for 70 years in peace and plenty, increasing in numbers, wealth, and intelligence. Their best educated men holding offices and state and commanding the respect and confidence not only of the king but the Egyptians. But my dear mother, it is time I close this letter until I again take up my pen to write you. Remain assured, I pray you of my filial reverence and love, your affection, Sesostris. Brothers and sisters, type it in the comment. All praises to the Most High YAHAWAH. And letter 8, brothers, we're going to see some crazy ish, man. Letter 8, we will discuss letter 8. I already read it, most likely tomorrow. All praises to the Most High. I'm stopping at letter 9, I believe. All praises, brothers, all praises. Woo! Brethren, all praises. The Most High is grand, the Most High is big. The Most High is a master chess player, brothers. Is a master chess player. You understand a lot of things that the Most High did when our people were in captivity 70 years before. They went to 70 years of hardcore slavery, super slavery. Then, brethren, we know when the king, the husband of Amensi, brothers, was the daughter of Apophis. Apophis is Apophis, Amensi descended from the line of Apophis, which was one of the Phoenician, most likely a Shemite. Now, the true Egyptians took power. They took arm against the Phoenician that was ruling Egypt, and then they overthrown them. During that time, when they overthrown them, one of the prince of the Thebes, the true Egyptian, marry the daughter of the Phoenician, and then they have Amensi. So Amensi, the queen of Egypt, bear the resemblance of the Shemites. So Amensi, they thought Amensi is the real mother of Moses, aka Ramesses. That is why Sesostris tell Moses we are cousins, because they were Shemites. Say you're Syrian, I'm Phoenician, Syrian, it's the same thing. They were cousins. You understand? Amensi, as a woman, she could not bear seeing the women being beaten down and work hard. She made it a law, okay? She made it a law that if any woman being struck or doing heavy burden, the person that do this, they will cut off their hand and they will kill them. And then Moses caught one dude in the act. They cut both of his hand. They kill him. Those are the neglect, the benign neglect. They have so many laws for those people, for them for not working hard, yet they never respect it. We understand the bondage that our people went 400 years in Egypt, thousands of years ago in Egypt, it's just mirror image. It's just the same thing. People leeks and garlics and fish and bad fish. Oh boy, connection is messed up. My connection is messed up. Oh boy. All right. Am I back? Am I back, brothers? I was give me a one if I'm back. I was buffering. They just tell me my connection is all messed up. I'm back. All right, good, good, good. Yeah, yeah. I was buffering. They did say the connection was tough. Brothers, now you understand. You understand how the Mosai. This is a part of the Exodus stories. Okay. All right, brothers. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. It is good when you reading, you study. The Mosai see this, he like it. Okay. He like it. The Mosai is in the midst of us. He laugh with us. He study with us, so to speak. He's like, my children are seeking my face. This is good. All right. I could be a scumbag and read the whole book by myself and then keep that knowledge for myself, like I used to do back then. I read a hish ton of books, brothers. All those knowledge, times and times, little by little, I share it. I don't like to share my knowledge. Why? Because scumbag always making fun of me. You know, they like when you tell them something, you mean Leonard's X? Is that what you mean? You moron. I didn't say anything about this. I'm talking about this. They cannot comprehend it. That's why I don't like sharing knowledge. People never really understand me. I'm like an alien in the midst of them. But right here, I'm not alone. I'm not alone here. And here, everybody understand. I can assure you, 100% of the people here either they understand completely what I'm talking about, or they understand some of what they have an idea. They're like, I know what this guy's talking. He's talking about Exodus. Those people, you tell them Exodus, they're like, "Whoa, is this a new album? Is this some kind of candy that come out? is, it, is Exodus a type of heroin? Is it flaka? A scumbag. They don't know anything, beyond like having party and drinking and drugs and stuff like that. That's why I like being here with the people. And it's very hard for me to share things unless I'm sharing it with the people here. It's just like, brothers, I'm not saying this because, oh, I know so much. It's just like, you people, man, scumbags, man. You guys, it's just, brothers, some of the people, they don't know what you're saying, but they listen. And you got this guy who explains something to you, to him, he's turning the TV very loud, or he's talking while you're talking. So whatever, man. And everything you say, they always have a rebuttal. You reading a book, there's a rebuttal. I don't know, man. Gang, you go, man. That's not what happened, man. I don't know, man. That's not what happened. In the movie, man, when I was watching the Ten Commandments, Moses this day, Moses did that. Brothers, did you know this book is the script of the Ten Commandments? Which went way off. When you're watching the Ten Commandments, it has nothing to do with the records in there. They never mention Sesostris. They never mention all those things. They mention a bunch of Moses was there, killed somebody, went to the mountain, split the sea, garbage. And then when you start reading, you're like, oh boy, oh good Lord. Those people, they swagger jack. They're nothing. It's not the same. Now we estimate, brothers, by see 20. By next month we should be by next month we should be done with this. Now, brothers, announcement. Tomorrow is gonna be the 10. For those of you that are taking the challenge with us, brothers, you're going to put $30 in. $30 in for tomorrow. $30 in for tomorrow. So those of you that were going to take the thing. For those of you who don't know, this channel was suspended for a week now. Please click in the description, subscribe to my backup channels. Tonight, I'm going to make a video. Right after that, we're going to talk about something. Please watch the videos, okay? For those of you who already put your $30, congratulations. Let us move in. Let us do this. Brothers and sisters, we have to do this tomorrow. And thank you for everybody that sent your email to check on me and make sure that everything was doing right. Everything was doing okay. Yes. All right. This would be tomorrow, the 10th would be let me see the week that would be. If you are doing the Yeah, they took my channel down for a week, brothers. Please keep up with the Facebook pages. Um, yes, everybody, when you get off here, go to Big Judah and find out what's going on. Tomorrow will be week 6, brothers. You will put $30 in. You should have in total $105 or more if you're doing this, brothers. $30. I just write it down here. $30 tomorrow Saturday. Whoop, hey, hey, there we go. $30 to more, brothers and sisters. Already a subscriber, please do that. And the other channel, it's all monetized. Okay, you will see commercial. This one you will not. The other channels, I will do articles only and certain other stuff. But this one, I will do video. Be on the lookout. You should find a video tomorrow morning. I don't know why the most I'm gonna put in my head, but we will do this, brothers. Is everybody okay? Everybody got a little understanding, a little background of things that happened in the past of what we just read here. We already read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters in the other channels. Please go watch the Pillar of Fire and the other channels. You'll find all the stuff. Pretty interesting stuff, brothers. There's one episode, there was a party going on. Moses crashed that party. Moses and 2 other women crashed that party. Please go watch it so you can have better understanding of what happened, okay? Okay, brothers and sisters, it is good to learn with you. Thank you so much, everybody that's been here. When we left, all of us will go to Big Judah. Thank you for everybody that support the treasure chest. We're doing wonderful, brothers. I cannot thank you enough. Everybody that sent your letters, beloved brother Patrick Small, which stay a few miles from me in Sunrise. I used to work in Sunrise. Shout outs to the brother. Give us a microphone, headphone, other things, just in case we suffer spiritual attack. One of those things is not working. Okay, thank you for every single person, brothers, that helped us through the PayPal, the CashApp, the Zelle, okay, the money orders. Thank you so much. Everything is working perfectly. All the dots are connected. We just need to learn, brothers and sisters. We just need to go with each other, hold each other's lane, hold the line. All right, we will finish this book. Once we're done, the Most High will move us to another book. I don't know which one, but he will move us, brothers. By the power of the Most High vested in me, and he can take it anytime he feel like. I'm leaving all of you in peace. Be at peace, brothers and sisters. There be no Jacob's trouble. Fear the Most High. Give him all praises and all glory. I will see you folks tomorrow for the prayer, and possibly we're going to study one of the letters. Okay, brothers and sisters, thank you for being here. Shalom. May the King reign forever.